introduce Samantha MacDonald. Samantha has never spoken publicly before. I'm going to hand you over to Samantha. Samantha has to go quite shortly after she...
Okay, Samantha, take it away. Okay, my name is Samantha MacDonald. I'm an experiencer and TI, which is a targeted individual, and a healer. I'm a crystals, Reiki, and overnight at the moment. Key thing, there's a few words that I want you all to remember on my experiences, and that is divide and rule, fragmentation, and compartmentalisation, which are all control factors in the dark control agendas. I'll just start a little bit about my family. I grew up in Salford with my two sisters and my father. My father's West Indian Jamaican and my mother is Austrian. And my real mother is African Irish. And my great-grandfather is from Egyptian heritage. Growing up as a child, I had a lot of psychic experiences and a lot of abilities. I was very sensitive, and my other sisters were both psychic intuitive too. I often had psychic dreams about my past lives and future events. I had a major spiritual experience at the age of 15 when I went into a meditation and merged and became one with the universe, and I became everything and nothing at the same time. And there were no questions anymore. So I can all know the oneness with the universe. And I was just hovering in the universe, and I just merged with everything. It lasted for about 10 to 15 seconds. But as soon as a thought came into my head, I shot back into my body. Nothing significant happened in my life again until the age of 21 years old, when I had a most terrifying lifelike dream that a reptilian with horns was awaiting my sacrifice, and people were dancing around a fire chanting that they wanted to take my soul, or rather the reptilian did. So I felt was a major player on the dark side. I woke up absolutely drenched in sweat and in absolute panic. The particular flat I was in was a portal for dark entities. Little did I know at that time, the dream itself was to do with a future event, since the person involved was actually in the dream. And later on in my life, I went on to do a humanities degree, counselling course, and later I went on a crystal healing course and did a Reiki course, since I was really interested in the alternative therapies. This led me on into doing healing work for friends and family. This is all, however, where I had my first experience of dark magic being used against me. When a friend came to me for help after the dark magic was being used against her and her family, I tried to help her, absolutely no experience in this field. Dark magic was then transferred to me, and this led to a massive psychic attacks, 24/7. This lasted for quite a long time, and there were a number of different entities from other dimensions and another part of the universe. This I later found out included a renegade bunch of reptilians, greys, and various interdimensional beings. I'll tell you the experience was one of, am I going to survive another day? That's how bad it was. I was actually fighting for my life, and I became very weak and very ill, and there were days when I was barely surviving, just clinging to the hope that it would all just go away, which I found out later were designed to take my soul essence. I barely had any energy left. It felt like it was being sucked out of my body. It was absolutely horrific, and I mean that literally, because that's how it felt. My family and friends were really worried, and I lost about 2.5 stones in weight, as I was barely surviving. I had no one to turn to, so I decided to try and deal with it myself as much as I could through prayer, meditation and crystal healing. The attacks gradually decreased enough for me to start doing some healing work again. So it was here that I had my IT experiences. It was about the time when I was researching free energy and different healing modalities that I came across orgonite. Now, orgonite is made up of crystals and different shaved metals and acetate resin to mould it together so that it binds tightly to the crystal, producing a piezoelectricity from the crystals, which increases the electromagnetic field, which in turn dissipates negative energies and certain entities from the third and fourth dimension. It was at this time I sent out an email to a fellow organiser who was doing some wonderful work in Africa clearing negative energies. So I ordered a big box of about 30 or so and emailed to say I wanted to organise the whole of Britain because I felt like the work that he was doing was absolutely brilliant. He had some brilliant results from it. But not long after I sent the email, my computer and my emails were hacked. My phone was being constantly hacked and monitored. I came under massive psychic attack again. My computer was constantly malfunctioning and my data was lost. Several people noticed that my phone was being hacked. My mum became very frightened, and I have to say, nothing frightened my mum. The psychic attacks increased significantly by the reptilians and the greys, and I noticed an array of UFOs monitoring or following me. One night, I saw a UFO with green and red lights outside my window. I went to bed and immediately became paralyzed.
Falls within the open atmosphere and in high vacuum. He called this energy the orgone. Orgone energy, as Dr. Reich discovered, was synonymous with life energy, long postulated by scientists and accepted as fact by ordinary people from around the world. Orgone energy could be gathered in its free form directly from the atmosphere using a device later called the orgone energy accumulator. A simple enclosure resembling a large hollow capacitor, composed of alternating layers of special insulators and conductors. The orgone accumulator allowed a high charge of the orgone to collect inside itself, facilitating its direct study and revealing. Dr. Reich observed the orgone energy charge in the human biosystem was expressed in emotion and sexuality and could be measured bioelectrically. A person's overall vitality and aliveness was a function of human and atmospheric orgone charge and pulsation, and this could often be increased by sitting inside the orgone accumulator. Orgone charge of the tissues was a fundamental component of the immune system, as revealing the bioelectric charging of red blood cells. The orgone accumulator was found to boost the immune system of people who sat inside them for periods of approximately 30 minutes a day over many days, and to thereby promote health and reduce the symptoms of some diseases. So incredible were the healing effects of the orgone accumulator that Dr. Theodore Wolff, a pioneer in psychosomatic medicine and associate of Dr. Reich, called the orgone accumulator the most important discovery in the history of medicine, bar none.
I must say that the copper, silver and gold are very good conductors if you're thinking of making your own orgonite device because they amplify the energy. I must say that the copper, silver and gold are very good conductors if you're thinking of making your own orgonite device because they amplify the energy from the crystals.
Bye.